Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to class. Um, and we've been talking all about customer service, and we have been doing some recon out in the world, right? When we go out there, everything involves customer service. So when you guys are out there at the store, at a restaurant, if you guys go out and eat, just be aware of what's going on, right? Even at the table next to you. Hi, welcome, come on in. And see what's going on. So before we get started with our lecture for chapter 2, let's start off with something funny. I want to show you guys this video. So is this good customer service?
Yes.
No,
it's not. Of course not.
This is a joke about customer service. If sometimes we actually want to, or if actually we would say what we were thinking, this is what they're thinking, right? And now they're just saying it. But none of these things should ever be said to a customer, right? We need to give excellent service. We need to be friendly. We need to help them to the extent of our abilities and make sure that they don't feel that they received anything less. So let's start with our lecture. Remember, this week we're doing chapter 2 and we're doing chapter 3 on Thursday. We are in 8 weeks. So remember, we're going to be doing 1 chapter per class session here. Most of you have done your assignments online. The lectures are also online if you have to miss class. They're up there. Just be advised, and I don't know if you saw it in the sign-in sheet, the lectures are being recorded, but you will not come out on the video. So just, be aware of that. So if anybody has to miss class, today is the drop deadline. So if anybody has to miss class and you're saying, well, I need to drop the class because maybe I won't be able to come, or you have appointments or you have responsibilities, don't drop it because of that reason. Everything is online. All of your assignments are going to be submitted online. There will be no paper. I'm trying to stay digital in my life. So just be aware of that. Does anybody have any questions for you two that are first time here? Have you had a chance to log on to, well, I saw you did some assignments, right? So that is gonna be the format of the class. Anybody have any questions regarding the class structure or anything? Anything else on Cengage, on Canvas? No? Okay. So let's get started with our lecture today. Anybody have any customer service experience, situations that you went through maybe this week or this weekend? Anybody? Yes. Antonio, tell us.
I went to the 99-cent store to go buy something I needed. And the lady was giving me an attitude, and I'm like, I don't understand why she was giving me. I figured that she was just having a bad day and just was, pushing that on to me. And she just started making comments that were not necessary. And I asked her, can I get your name, please? She's like, no, I'm not gonna give it to you. And I'm like, please give it to me. So I want to talk to your owner. I want to talk to the owner about you. Mm-hmm. And she goes, what? I've been working here 20 years. She's not gonna do. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like right out of the book. I'm like, oh my gosh.
They can't do anything to me.
And so I just felt so disrespected. I felt like she had no customer service. And so the next day I went and I talked to the owner, and I didn't mention any names or anything, but I brought to his attention that one of his employees was the way how she was acting. I actually I had the book in my hand when I was going. I was like, man, I'm gonna preach this person. So I just told him, and he was like, oh, thank you very much. You're a customer here, and you come here often. And so I was like, okay, cool. So that was it.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys have ever set out to buy a car or looking to buy a car, and all of a sudden, like, let's just say you wanted to buy a Prius, right? or a Tesla. Those are famous now. Let's say you wanted to buy a Tesla. All of a sudden, all you see are the Teslas, right? Has that ever happened to you guys? Because they're a little bit more in our mind. And we see them, oh my God, that's the car I want. Oh my God, that's the car I want. Oh my God, that's the car I want. So we see them out there. So now that we're studying customer service, maybe that'll come up a little bit more when you guys are out there shopping or at restaurants where you're gonna see the customer service interaction, right? And then you're gonna be able to say, oh, she shouldn't have done that, or, you know, that's bad customer service, or he gave that person bad customer service. So chapter 2 is all about the global customer and some of the things, shut off the light.
Customer centric.
Some of the objectives for this particular chapter are to discuss the impact of globalization, describe diversity, right? There's so much diversity around us, and how do we deal with those things? Identify the 4 personalities of customers, not only of the customers, but of ourselves, right? What personality do we fall under? Contrast customer service among the 5 generational groups. Now there's 6. Now there's 6 generations, which the book doesn't talk about, but we're gonna touch on that a little bit. And discuss ways to communicate effectively also with our disabled customers, right? All different situations, all different ways that us as customer service representatives can communicate with these different groups. So the impact of globalization, there is outsourcing. Anybody know what outsourcing is? There's a lot of outsourcing. The United States is notorious for outsourcing. Why do companies outsource? You guys know?
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper, right? You're gonna get the same work done for a lot less, which means the company makes more money, right? So there are people outsource. What about nearshoring? Nearshoring is a form of outsourcing in which businesses are relocated to locations also at a low wage, but are closer, right? So maybe they're in the same time zone. And we also have homeshoring. What do you guys, what do you all think homeshoring is? Say here, home. Work from home. Working from your home, having your setup at your house and being able to do your work there. COVID exploded the homeshoring, right? Even here at ELAC, they sent us all home to work from home. And all of a sudden, right, I was pushing my dining room table off to the corner and building my little station there where I could work. Everybody on campus went home to work. Fun fact, they brought everybody back already. They said, no more of that. But we can provide all of this customer service through outsourcing, through nearshoring, and also through homeshoring. And since we're talking about the global customer, we're gonna talk about diversity and cultural diversity. Do you guys hear that word very often now? Everyone hear that word, diversity? Yes, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is a big push here on campus to have diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when we're dealing with customers, there is a lot of cultural diversity, right? What is cultural diversity? What is a culture? What is culture? Culture is the system of shared values, beliefs, and rituals that are learned and passed on and that affects a person's perception of the world, right? It affects how we are looking at things that are around us, how we see somebody, what we believe in, what we've been taught since we were very, very little. And we were seeing things in our parents and those people around us, right? I remember when I was in elementary school, I didn't come across a different culture than mine until I was in the 7th grade, until I went off to middle school. And it was quite a culture shock for me because my whole life, I had just been surrounded by Latinos, right? My parents were Latinos. I went to a Latino school. I went to a Latino church. And everything that I did, my neighbors were Latinos, and everything that I did was just that particular culture. And we all did the same things, right? All of the kids that I knew, we did the same things because we were in the same culture. So it was quite a culture shock to me when I started being around or talking to kids my age that were maybe African American or that were Asian or that were white. And they had different customs and they had different beliefs that were different from mine. I remember one time one of the students, she was an African American student, and she would tell me, you know, why do Mexicans do this? Or why do Mexicans dress like that? And to me, I kind of really didn't know, what do you mean Mexicans? Am I Mexican? Like, yeah, I am Mexican. But it was that initial shock, right, of cultural diversity that I fell into. So now in the world, there's so many cultures, right? So many different cultures that we come across. Here on campus, there's many, many different cultures, right? Those of you that work here on campus, you come across different cultures, right? Maybe it might be predominantly Latinos, but there's so many other different cultures that are here on this campus, and that we have to provide the same exceptional customer service to everybody who comes, to everybody that we come in contact with. So cultural values, things that we value in our own culture, might not be things that other cultures value. Have you guys ever come across anything like that? Anybody? And these are some of the things, the culture, the differences that are seen in the different cultures. For example, nonverbal behavior, eye contact. When we were little, at least my parents, when we were little, when I was little, me and my brothers and my sister, you know, always when you're talking to somebody, make sure you're looking at them, right? Make sure you're quiet, make sure you're paying attention. Can we believe that in other cultures, eye contact is bad? Yes? So you might be dealing with somebody from an Eastern culture that thinks eye contact is bad, but to you, eye contact is good. And that is all we know, right? When you're talking to somebody, at least me, that's how I grew up. Eye contact, be polite, listen first, right? Our body language, if we're too relaxed, we're kicking back. Does that give somebody a bad image of us? When to us, it seems like it's okay, right? The way we're sitting, the way we're standing. Have you ever talked to anybody and they're folding their arms like this? That's a nonverbal behavior. Maybe to us, it might be normal or it might be okay, but to somebody in a different culture, you standing like this with your hip out and your head tilted, what does that tell the person? What does that tell you?
Not interested.
Yeah, whatever, right? I don't care what you're saying. And it's the nonverbal communication that sometimes gives us away to what exactly we are thinking, right? Looking away, not looking at the person. That's another nonverbal behavior that is different in the different cultures that there is. The concept of time. How do we treat time here in the United States or in our cultures? Time is money. We hear that a lot, right? How do we treat time? For us, is it a strict boundary or is it unlimited continuity? It's a strict boundary. We schedule ourselves. We know what we have to do from this time to this time. There's people that are scheduling I wake up at 6 o'clock. At 6:05, I'm making my bed. At 6:10, I'm taking a shower, right? It's a strict deadline, strict boundary. But other cultures may not have that. And you're dealing with customer service, and maybe to you, you say, oh, I only have 5 minutes to handle this customer or to help this customer. But customers in other cultures might say, well, this person has all the time in the world. They come across that when Westerners are dealing with Easterners, right? Easterners think that the concept of time is an unlimited continuity. This meeting can last as long as it's going to have to take. Do we do that here in the United States? We do not. We do not do that. When we set meetings, we are respectful of people's time, right? And we say the meeting is gonna be from 10:30 to 12. How would you all feel if I just kept talking after 12 o'clock? Everybody would just walk away, right? I was like, no, esta que se cree, let's go. It's already 12 o'clock and I need to go, I have class, or I need to go get lunch because my next class is at 1 o'clock, or whatever your schedule might be, you might need to be getting to work, right? Here in the United States, we're respectful and we're mindful of people's times. In other cultures, they might not be so much. Concept of space. How many of you love your personal space? Have you ever been in a store or in a line or at Disneyland or wherever, and all of a sudden, like, you have somebody right here? How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Too close.
We get an awkward feeling, right? At least I do. I get that awkward feeling because in different cultures, there is different concepts of space. Yes? Sometimes the person stands right next to you. And at least to me, I get that sense of an uneasiness, like, whoa, that's my personal space, aquí, you know? And after COVID, we try to stay 6 feet away from people. Although that's kind of dying down a little bit already. We want large amounts of space, or do we want a smaller personal space? Are we okay with the person being right next to us? Probably not. We aren't. But the person who is standing right next to you, the person who isn't aware of the fact that you need bigger personal space, they're used to having what? Smaller personal space. And if that person, because sometimes the person, they're unaware of it, right? They're unaware that they're right up in your space, like, get off me. You want to kind of have that attitude. But that person, to that person, the smaller personal space is okay because that is how that particular person has been raised, and that is their cultural view. Concept of authority. Here in the United States, do we pay attention to somebody depending on their convincing argument? Or do we pay attention to somebody just because they're in a high rank? What do you all think?
Kind of be either or, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be either or. It can be either or. A lot of times, we are gearing more towards the person's argument. For example, now with social media, right? And all the people recording everything. We see a lot of times when dealing with authority, like the police, people are talking back. People are saying no, right? All this animosity going on with the police. Policemen are of high rank authority, right? They're the ones that are controlling society out there and making sure everybody's doing good and nobody's doing things that they shouldn't be. And a lot of times, we'll talk back. A lot of times we won't listen to what they're saying. So, yes, sir.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong?
No.
Okay.
To question, I mean, authority is, I mean,
Right.
it's not to say that you're a person of authority is, your word is final, you
Right.
know, so.
But there are some cultures that believe just because you have a high ranking position, your word is final.
So it goes both ways.
We might not think that because that might not be the way we grew up, or that might not be our cultural beliefs. But other cultures might believe that just because this person is in high-ranking authority, just because this person has the position or has the degrees, that's it, their word is final. So are they wrong? They're not wrong, that's what they believe in. We believe something that is a little bit different. So we have, our customers are gonna be culturally different, and our customers are gonna have different views that are different from us. Does that mean that we don't provide excellent customer service? No, at all times, we are providing excellent customer service. And not like the video saying exactly what we think. That's not what we are doing. So in serving the diversity of our customers, and now that we have all of these different types of cultures, and we are in essence communicating and helping and assisting all of these different types of customers, we need to be aware of stereotyping. Anybody knows what stereotyping is? Anybody been subjected to stereotyping that would like to share their experience? Stereotyping is when we categorize individuals or groups according to an oversimplified standard image or idea, right? All of these little cutouts here are blue. Is it safe for us to say, well, all the little cutouts are blue? They're all blue, they're all blue. No, there's different ones. There's different color ones, right? This one is not the same as all these just because it's the same shape. In our lives, we need to be careful with stereotyping. In serving our customers, we need to be careful with stereotyping when we're dealing with the different cultural groups. If we're dealing with Asians, if we're dealing with Hispanics, if we're dealing with African Americans, we need to not stereotype them. If you had an experience with one particular person, let's say it was a not so great experience, right? With a Latino, let's just say.
Hey.
That's okay, I'm Latina. Is it safe to say, well, all Latinos are bad, all Latinos are rude, all Latinos are inconsiderate? That is not a safe assumption, right? No. And that is a stereotype. So when we are stereotyping people, it leads to poor interaction because we are coming to a conclusion based on our previous experience, right? So we may provide poor interaction for this poor person that has nothing to do with whatever happened to you before and is pretty much paying the consequences, right? Because now we have a stereotype and we're not gonna provide them with the excellent customer service that they deserve. It leads to misunderstandings, it leads to prejudgments, and it hinders the positive customer service interaction that you are able to give this person. Let's say Isaac is an excellent customer service representative, right? He works here on campus, so he says that. He helps the students and he even, walks them over to the office that they're looking for, looks through their paper to see what it is that they need to do, and also provides this excellent, goes above and beyond, excellent customer service. Has a horrible interaction with a Latino male, older gentleman, maybe 50s, 60s. Is it safe for him to assume that every single Latino male who's 50 years old who comes into the office and asks for his help will give him the same rude treatment? No, right? But sometimes we're so traumatized by what happens that we stereotype people and we put everybody into this blue category and we say, if you're cut out this shape, then that means that you're blue. And that means that you're gonna be the same as everybody else. Do we do that in our lives? With our friends, with people, right? That we come across. Maybe we're not serving them in any customer service capacity, but Are we aware that we're doing it sometimes with people that we know, with our classmates, with our instructors, right? With people that we come across here on campus or just in the world in general, right? We have to be mindful of our stereotypes, right? And correct that in us, right? Be aware of what we're doing and say, no, I'm stereotyping and that's not what I'm gonna do. Because it does happen. It does happen to us. Oh my God, you're an evil person because you're stereotyping. No, that is not the case, right? But it is a behavior that we need to correct if we find ourselves that we are stereotyping. Has anybody come across any stereotyping situations? Yes, would you like to share?
I think one that's important too is like within Latino or Asian or any different, I've gotten said remarks like, oh, you Mexicans, you this and that. And I'm like, I'm Salvadorian.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a big thing for me because I'm also used to that. But I think that's one too for stereotyping within.
That's right, because stereotypes don't just happen outside of our culture, right? We're all Latinos, but there's Salvadorians, there's Guatemalans,
Not everybody's Mexican.
there's Mexicans, right? There's so many different, but sometimes we stereotype, we see somebody who's Latino and we say, oh, you're Mexican. My husband is Salvadorian and I'll tell you, that's a pet peeve of his too. I hate it when they call me Mexican. I am not Mexican. So we need to be careful, right? We need to be careful with that, even within our own culture, right? Even within our own culture. And it is not okay to say, those things like that, especially when we're dealing with a customer, right? And we're trying to provide that experience of excellence. Experience of excellence. So let's be aware of that, not just when serving others, but also in our own personal lives. Now, when we are serving these different, right, there's so many different cultures, we're serving a diverse group. Who is responsible for understanding what is being said? Let's say you're dealing with a different culture than yours, a different culture than yours. For example, I speak Spanish, so I would be able to help somebody that speaks Spanish, right? But let's say that I am having a customer service experience with somebody of maybe Japanese culture. Let's say the person's Japanese. We're having issues with communicating. Who is responsible for understanding what is being said? Yes, the customer service representative. It is your responsibility to try to your fullest ability to understand what the person is saying. And what are some things that you can do? We're listening, right? We're listening. Maybe we apologize when we don't understand. I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat that? Maybe a little bit slower. We can also gauge the velocity of the conversation. We can speak slowly. We can speak clearly. What about paraphrasing? Can we ask the same question a different way? If maybe the person isn't understanding what we're trying to say in this particular way, we can paraphrase the same question and we can ask it in a different way so that maybe the person is not quite understanding the words you're saying. But if you say that, if you ask the same question in a different way, maybe the person will understand those particular words that you are now asking. Can we ask them to repeat themselves? Would you please mind repeating that? I have come across things here on campus, and one thing that has really, really helped me a lot is, can you show me? A lot of people bring their phone, either they got an email or a text message, and they say, I have to go to this office. So I said, can you show me? Can you show me your phone? Show me your email. Show me your email. Because they're trying to tell me, I'm trying to go to the fiscal office to pay my parking pass and it's in G1 107. Well, most of that I didn't get. So a lot of times, what can I do? Can I see your email? And they'll show it to me. Ah, okay. Yes, come this way. A lot of times I use hand gestures, right? Fiscal office is this way. A lot of times I would get out of my desk and go and help them and take them down to the fiscal office from where I was. I used to work here on campus, so that's what I mean. Right? Are we going above and beyond when we don't understand somebody? I have seen customers in different stores using the Google Translate. Right? Have you ever come across that? They have their phone, because everybody has their phone in their pocket now. And they bring it out, can you speak into it, right? We're going above and beyond. Or can we just say, nah, I don't understand you, bye. Go look for somebody else. Is that excellent customer service? Are we serving a cultural diverse customer base for our company wherever we're working? And we're providing excellent customer service by saying, I don't understand you, forget you, go find somebody else. That is not excellent customer service. So we're going above and beyond many different things that we can do so that the customer feels like they're being taken care of. Yes? Have we had any of those experiences where we feel this customer service rep really did everything possible to assist me, right? And I got my issue taken care of. So we need to be careful when we are dealing with diverse customers and be sure we're apologizing, speak slowly and clearly, paraphrase, ask questions, use different resources, right? For example, the phone, show me, can you show me on your phone? The Google Translate, there's a free versions on there that you can have that help you with the basic things, that help you with the basic issues. Now, even when we are in the same culture, we are all still different. Our customers might be culturally the same, but our customers also have a personality type. What is personality? Does anybody here have a personality?
Personality.
We all have our own personality. Personality is a pattern of collective character, behaviors, temperament, emotions, and mental traits of a person. And today we're going to talk about 4 customer personality types that there is. We have analytical, driver, amiable, and expressive. That is what personality is. And for the most part, our customers and ourselves, we fall into one of these 4 personalities. The analytical one, what is an analytical person?
Melancholy.
They're well organized, they're deliberate, they love details, they tend to be a little bit more introverted, they're structured, facts, facts, facts. That's the analytical person. Facts, facts, facts. The driver wants
Choleric.
results, they're oriented, they're practical, they want to be in control. Yes?
Oh, I'd say choleric personality.
You said what? I'm sorry?
Choleric.
Oh, choleric. Okay. They like to analyze and they like to compare, right? Their careers are mostly numbers. What do you think a person who's analytical might want to go into if they love numbers? Accounting, right? Accounting professions, computer science professions. We have some computer science majors over here. Javier, you're a computer science major? Do you consider yourself to be analytical? Yeah? Now, we might be a combination of these 4 personalities, but one of the personalities will be the dominant one, right? For us. The driver loves to save time, loves values the results, loves control. They want things their way, my way or the highway. They tend to be more extroverted. They show little to no emotion. Anybody here consider themselves a driver? They make things happen. They do a lot in a short period of time, right? They might be business owners or doctors. Anybody here a driver? No?
Same one,
Amiable.
same one.
What about amiable? They love to build relationships. They value suggestions. Amiable, there's a lot of emotion, right? They're friendly, they're dependable. What are some of the careers that amiable people might go into? Teachers, nurses, caretakers. They love teamwork. They're family oriented, right? They're cautious of their nature, cautious of themselves. So those, anybody here consider themselves amiable?
Like that.
Yeah. You, amiable? And we have expressive. So expressive, they value appreciation, they're social, they thrive on the social situations. They love to inspire others, they're extroverted, they're talkers. A little overly dramatic and impulsive, they're great communicators.
Very
Now,
forgetful.
from the short, this is what, the third day we've been here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the case study. Okay? From the short 3 sessions that we've had, what would you all categorize me as?
Personality here in the class that you're portraying is, I would say, like, no, same one, which is.
What you see is what you get. I'm like this everywhere.
Expressive. Cool.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody want to take a stab at it? What would you categorize me as?
Personality wise, you're talking about, not as far as character.
Well, a personality type, yes. Out of these 4 personalities, and we went over some of the descriptions of the personality, what would you, so you say expressive. How about the rest of you? What do you think?
Amiable.
Okay. Anybody else? So I have taken the test, and you all will take the test later. I am amiable with a tiny bit of analytical. So that's me. That's me.
It
But
might have been expressive, because the way you're,
yeah, there was some
Social,
expressive too, but
or is this because you're the facilitator, you have to be a little more vocal?
well, I would guess so, but I think this is me overall.
I
the-
think
the
so
way I
too.
am.
Yeah.
And yes, we might have all of these characteristics in our own personality, but one of them will always be the more dominant, right? And that is the one that we are, even though we do have traits, right, from the other ones. So I want you all to turn to page 29 in your book.
29.
Yeah, there's a table on there.
Got
it. At the bottom.
Yes.
And there are some traits for the different personalities that there are here. And I want you to take like 2-3 minutes and kind of skim through them. And you are gonna tell me what personality you think you are. Or which one stands out, which one is the dominant one. Does anybody not have a book?
All of them.
Do you need to check out a book? So go ahead and, this will be your book. Fill it out when you have a chance. Yeah. Did you bring your book?
We got 3 strike through.
You didn't bring it?
Actually,
Okay, I'll let you know.
decisive. Problem solver. Nope. Independent. Determined.
So just take a few minutes, look at all of the different traits that there is under that particular personality on page 29. And you can be a combination of 2 or 3, or you can have traits from all 4, right? But there will be one that will be the dominant one. So you let me know which one you think you are.
I swear you would have been expressive. You're a social person.
I have some of all of them.
No, we all do. I mean, but yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm bothered that you fooled me.
Talk more. I've been told I talk a lot. Now, here's a trick. In order for this to be an accurate assessment of yourself, we need to be honest. Okay, it isn't what we want to be. For example, I saw here there was orderly. For example, orderly.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I want to be orderly, but if you're not orderly, then don't pick that one, right? It isn't what we want. In order for us to accurately assess the situation, we need to be honest.
With ourselves.
And sometimes honesty with ourselves is the toughest thing to do, right? But take this moment to breathe it in and say, okay, what exactly am I? What exactly am I doing? Right? Determined, are we risk takers? Are we team players? Are we emotional, considerate, convincing, impulsive, charming? Now, these might all be good traits that we're seeing here, but like in everything, there's good and bad, right? And those personalities also have bad traits.
Yep.
But we're not talking about those. We're only talking about the good traits.
Let's keep it positive.
Let's keep it positive. Okay, so who can tell me what they are?
I think I'm more amiable.
With a little bit of something else?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of analytical, maybe.
Okay. Okay, so we're similar. How about you, Antonio?
Oh, I'm gonna say expressive, amiable, and a driver.
Okay, so which one is your dominant one?
That's a tough one, but probably expressive right now.
Expressive, okay. Javier, what about you?
I think I'm mostly analytical, but also a driver.
So is analytical your dominant trait? Your dominant personality?
Yes.
Yes? Isaac?
I'd say probably amiable. I don't know if there's like more of a second one. I feel like there's little parts I can pick up from all of them.
From which one?
From the other 3,
Okay, but mostly amiable.
I think so.
Jonathan, what about you back there?
Excuse me, I like to be patient.
I'm sorry?
I like to be patient.
You like to be patient?
Yeah.
So
I like
which
to
one
study
of that,
too.
is that more amiable maybe?
What's amiable?
The personality trait that's there on the page.
What does that mean, amiable?
Well, amiable means that you're patient, loyal, sympathetic, a team player, emotional. You're
Team player.
considerate.
Team player.
Is that you?
What's a team player?
A team player? A team player is somebody who works well with others.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
That you're excited about, doing a project with the team or being involved in a team project where, I don't know,
I like that,
like, for example, you're in the mechanics, right?
yeah.
You're into mechanics, so maybe fixing the brakes with two other people or,
Oh, yeah,
you
cool.
know, I don't know, changing the oil with a coworker as opposed to doing it by yourself.
Yeah,
Okay. What about, remind me your name? I'm sorry, Jasmine? Jasmine. What about you, Jasmine?
Mostly amiable and a little bit of analytical.
Okay, okay, so kind of the same personalities, right? So our customers, we are these particular personalities. Our customers also have these particular personalities. So then how do I deal? How do I deal? If I'm this particular personality, how do I deal with customers who are different personalities than the one I am? For example, you two mentioned amiable as your dominant one, but Javier mentioned analytical as his dominant one. You mentioned expressive as your dominant, right? Isaac and Jonathan mentioned amiable too. So how do I deal? If you're an analytical person, in the case of Javier, some of the things that you can work on, Javier, are to speak a little more, smile more, show appreciation, be a little bit, more relaxed, share information with people. Those are the things that you have to work on in order to provide a little bit better customer service, right? What about a driver? Somebody who's a driver, remember, they're quick, right? They just want things fast. They want them now. They're just talking about the facts and that's it. What can they do to provide better customer service to the other three?
Listen to the rest.
They can slow down, they can listen more, they can hold back from dominating the conversation, right? The driver tends to dominate conversation and to always be the one who's speaking, right? Only they are right. Ever come across somebody like that? Ever come across somebody that dominates the conversation? And I have a brother who's like that. He just talks and talks and talks. It doesn't matter. You could tell him something anyways. He's a little bit like that. And he loves dominating the conversation. Don't tell him I said, okay? He loves dominating the conversation, right? So as somebody who's a driver, in order to offer excellent customer service, what does the driver have to do? Well, they need to hold back from dominating, let the customer talk. Not you, it's not about you, it's about the customer, right? Listen more, slow down, not speak so fast. An amiable person, what do amiable people need to do to better offer better customer
Ask
service?
questions.
Be more assertive, right? Talk more, listen less and talk more, right? Because the amiable person is about listening. We like to listen. We listen, right? Sometimes we hold back from taking control. So we need to be a little more assertive when dealing with the customer and guide the customer through what it is that the customer needs. And then an expressive person needs to listen more, slow down, and maybe write things down, right? Write things down and set goals when dealing with the customer. So these are different things. Since we're more amiable here, maybe a little more assertive and talk more to the customer, right? As opposed to just listening to their complaints and then listening to their suggestions and then listening to what they want. Now we need to offer a solution to what it is that they're trying to deal with. So in our assignments, in one of our assignments, you all are gonna take a test. There's a test. And remember, when you're taking your test, be honest, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Here we kind of gauged, okay, I'm this, this is kind of where I am, but the test will tell you what exactly you are, right? You're gonna get a copy of it and attach it onto your assignment and it'll be there on Canvas. So we went through cultural differences that there is in our customers. There's personality differences. And there are also generational differences. Different ages people that we deal with at different stages of their lives. Right? We need to be aware of the customer's generation and knowing what the customer wants, right? Are we gonna serve somebody who's in what, maybe her 60s, as opposed to somebody who's in her 30s, as opposed to now this young lady here about probably maybe 12, 13, right? Different people in different generational groups want different things from the same customer service representative. Remember, and we talked about this in our first class session, and we talked about good service must be seen from the customer's point of view. We had that question. If a company is hearing that they are giving bad customer service, and we think we're giving good customer service, are we giving good or bad customer service? The reviews are saying they have bad customer service. The employees say, no, we're good at giving customer service. Then what is it most likely?
Bad.
Most likely it's bad because the customers are saying you're bad. Same thing with the generations, right? Maybe a mom who's in a hurry to purchase a gift, take her daughter to soccer practice, make sure she makes dinner, will not appreciate you explaining every single gift that they have at the store, as opposed to somebody who is retired, who has a little bit more time, who makes their purchases weeks in advance, right? They have a little bit more time. So the perception of the generation is what counts. Did you give excellent customer service based on the different generations that there is? And we're gonna run through some of these generations. According to the text, I know that if we look online, and we will look online in a little bit, there's different years to represent the different generational groups. But according to our textbook, we have the matures, which is born prior to 1946. So they're right now maybe 85, the 90-year-olds,
That's neat.
right? Yes. We have the baby boomers, born between 46 and 64. Those are maybe the 70-year-olds, right? My dad's 76, he's a baby boomer. That's the age group there. Generation X, born between 1965 and 1981.
Yeah.
But that's okay because they say that 40 is the new 50 and all that, you know? So that's
40 to 50?
adult generation, I guess you could say, right? Generation Y are the all famous millennials. They're the ones with the young families right now, right? They're raising their kids or they're having children, maybe between 38 to the early 40s, maybe 45, around there. So right now, you see them, they have the children, right? They have their children. Generation Z, the partiers, right? Born after 1990, they're self-directed, right? Those are maybe early 20s, around there, maybe from 17, 18, they're probably that age right now, right? And we have the Generation Alpha, which the book does not mention that. Generation Alpha is the little kids right now. They're born from 2010 to 2024. What is awesome about Generation Alpha? Generation Alpha does not know a world without technology, does not know a world without social media, right? I remember my son, when he was little, he's Generation Z, we already had a cell phone. And he was dialing everybody and leaving babbling messages, right? Because he was like 6 months old and he would get a hold of my phone, or he was 1 year old and he would get a hold of my phone and he was punching away and leaving these random babbling messages on my contacts, right? So they don't know a world without technology. Us that are a little bit more mature, we do remember a world without technology, right? And certain things that Generation Z or even Generation Alpha doesn't remember, and the differences that there is, right? For example, I saw this video the other day talking about the different generations, and they asked the person, the older generations and the younger generations, how do you make a phone call? What did the older generation do? This. What did the younger generation do? This. Right? Because they're holding the phone this way. How do you take a picture? Right. What do the younger people do? How do you take a picture on your phone? Or like this, you hold up the phone. The differences in the generations. So the differences in the generations can tell you that maybe you provided excellent service to maybe the Generation Z, but somebody of the baby boomers is saying, no, you did not provide excellent customer service. To me, I'm an old person and you were not patient. You didn't do everything that you could have done, right? You weren't, I don't know, some of them might be a little bit hard of hearing, right? You weren't clear in the way you spoke to me, as opposed to Generation Z running into the store and saying, okay, give me this, and all right, here it is, here you go, bye. Right? So we need to gauge our attitudes towards the different generations that there is. So I want us to take a look at this particular chart here. And you're gonna see that, and you guys, you can all look at it later. The different ages that we see here are slightly different. This is from the parents' website. And it tells you the dates which are compared to our book, and they're about maybe 2 to 3 years. There's a 2 to 3 year difference. So you might fall under one chart, you might fall in one particular generation. In another chart, you might fall in a different generation, right? Like if you were born, I think the other one says like 44. So here it says 46. And there's so many different ones. If you're in the middle, then you're not gonna have a problem. It's gonna be easy for you to detect which generation you are. So you can take a look at that. There's also an assignment on there on describing your generation and which generation you fall on and how you can communicate with the different generations. So we'll be taking a look at that.
No, that made me think about people that were raised by their grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes you feel that you were old fashioned because your grandparents are older
Mm-hmm.
than, you know, younger parents raising their children. So that kind of fits in with the culture too,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes, and now in different households, there could be various generations living in the same household, right? And they interact with each other.
Wow.
And that tends to happen. So we have customers are diverse in culture. What else? Diverse in the
Age.
4 different
Personalities, age,
and also age. And we also have disabled customers, right? People that have a condition caused by accident, trauma, genetics, or disease, which may have limits, right? They may limit a person's mobility, hearing, vision, speech, or mental function. In the last few years, there's been a huge effort, right, to assist the disabled customer in any situation. You walk across the street and we see right in the corner that big yellow kind of down ramp with the little bowls. Have you seen that on the streets? What are those for? Anybody knows what they're for?
Don't look at me.
No idea. I'm walking down the street and there's yellow patch here on the road. There's some here on Elac. When you walk into the parking, check them out. They would say, oh, that's what they're for.
Speed bumps?
Those are ramps for the wheelchairs, and those little yellow bumps that you see, those are so that the wheelchair doesn't just go down. Kind of gives them a little bit of stop, so that they don't catch momentum, right? And then maybe they can't slow down. So we have the Americans with Disabilities Act, which resulted in improving accessibility in buildings, increased access to education, and more employment opportunities for people with disabilities, right? On campus, there's a huge movement of the Americans with Disability Act. We have accessibility for disabled customers. In a store, in a restaurant, do we treat disabled customers any less than any other customer of a different generation, of a different personality, of a different cultural group, right? No.
It better not.
All of these different customers deserve our undivided attention. And for them to walk out of the store or to leave from the store satisfied with the experience that you provided. Because remember, we mentioned in our first class, we are the face of the company, right? It isn't the CEO making the big bucks that who probably has never stepped foot in the particular Target that we work at. That's not the face. The face is the person that the customer comes in contact with when they walk into the store. And lately, let me tell you, I have had some horrible customer service. Just yesterday, I went to Target and I was looking for something, right? I was looking for this particular item. I had ordered it for Christmas and it wasn't available. And they're like, come back. I came back. I went to look for it. So there was this one customer service rep. She was putting away some pots. And she's putting away the pots and, and I said, well, hey, this nice young lady here, let me go ask her. Oh, I'm looking, and I had it on my phone. I said, oh, I'm looking for I need the code. She didn't even let me finish at all. And I said, okay, the code, which code? Scroll all the way down. And she gets her finger and she starts going like this on my phone.
She took your phone. Let me see.
So she invaded my personal space, right? I was like, esta muchacha. So yeah, she gets a code and then yeah, she punches it in and then her little, I guess they have like a little phone thingy, I don't know, looks like a gadget. A scanner. Yeah, she punches it in. No, we don't have it. Was that good customer service? My questions were answered, right? I found out that they don't have it in stock. But she was quite rude. Now, you all are younger than me. You're in a different generation, right? Which generation? Where am I? I'm sorry, wrong way. Somebody here who's in the Gen Z or even the millennials here. I'm the X. We ain't got no alphas, they're in elementary. Is that excellent customer service to you? Do you all, as millennials or Generation Z customers, care about customer service? Yeah or no? Yes, nay, or yay? Does it matter to you? It doesn't?
I just go in, get what I need.
Uh-huh. So it doesn't matter to you?
Not too much.
Okay. All right. What about you all?
It matters a little bit, like, if I still need help, I don't want them to be rude to me or anything.
Okay.
Wow.
Like, I usually, like you said, I usually do just kind of go in, get what I'm looking for.
Uh-huh. What about you, Javier?
I'm gonna be honest, what was the question again?
Do you care about customer service? So I shared my experience that I just had about the person who was less than amiable.
Yeah.
Does it matter to the different generations? Like, if you fall under millennials or you fall under Generation Z, do you care about customer service? Does it matter to you? So Hernan shared that, no, it doesn't really make a difference.
I was good care, I suppose.
You suppose, so it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I think if it's like in your situation where you actually go in and look for somebody because you need help or you'd like to know if they're gonna have it or if you can order it, it definitely matters. Cause there are times where we just walk in and like we get, toothpaste,
Yeah,
toilet paper,
yeah.
whatever, you just
We
get
don't
what you
need any help,
and you
yeah.
go out. But if it's a situation where it's something in particular, yeah.
What about you?
It matters.
It matters, okay. Do you all think that it matters depending on, for example, would it matter as much to a college student as opposed to somebody who has kids? Let's say they're the same age. Like somebody who's 22. Somebody who's 22, maybe just in college, right? As opposed to somebody who's 22 who has a 2-year-old. Do you all think that matters? Yes? Maybe because when we're younger, we kind of don't pay attention to a lot of these things, right? We're kind of like, oh, let's just go in, I get whatever. Does it matter in the different situations? For example, you don't really care too much if you walk into Target and they provide that rude customer service. But what about if you're at the Cheesecake Factory or at a nice restaurant enjoying a dinner for Valentine's Day with your significant other? Does it matter then? Yeah.
So, you cause problems here now.
Okay, so then it's situational, right? Depends on what season in our life we're in also, right? And it's also generational, so now, be aware, go out there and do some recon on customer service, right? Even when it isn't about you, if you're seeing the table next to you or you're seeing somebody in front of you, right? Watch out for these things that are going on. Watch out for the interactions of the customer service reps at the stores, at the restaurants, at the nail salon, wherever you go, if you take your car in or wherever it is that you go, even here on campus, remember, you all are the customers to this fine institution, which is ELAC. How do I get treated when I go to the counseling center or when I ask somebody for help? How does my instructor treat me? Watch out, do some recon for the customer service class. So we were with the disabled customer, right? And the Americans with Disabilities Act. And we need to understand our customers and serve the people with disabilities, raise and base it on respect, courtesy, right? Without being condescending, right? Service provided should be adjusted to the way the way we're offering it to them, we have to be considerate of the disability that they have, right? And we need to plan to meet the requirements, right, of customers with disabilities, like for example, the ramp. Now, a lot of stores have that. Why? Because if a customer with a wheelchair comes in, they want to make sure they have access to it, right? The hallways are 3 feet wide, things of that sort, right? Have you ever seen that they have the same product on the bottom shelves and they also have it on the top shelves? You guys ever seen that? I've seen that at Walmart, like those cases, sometimes like that. Why? Because the products need to be accessible, right? For customers with disabilities, and companies are doing all of these things. You get on a website, you all been on websites, different websites, and you have all these images and pictures. There's also the accessibility website, right? Where their customers are visually impaired. Sometimes they're colorblind. They can't distinguish the different clip arts that they put there. You click on the accessibility one and it gives you a website that's a little bit more on the plainer side, right? Why? So that the customer with maybe who's visually impaired can see whatever is going on the screen. So companies are having this push towards understanding and working and providing services to disabled customers, right? And there's different types of disabilities, the physical disability, hearing impaired, speech impaired, learning disability, mobility impaired, and visually impaired.
What about mental?
Maybe, yeah.
What about
mentally impaired, but
emotional?
The book doesn't talk too much about that, but we need to understand these different, there's so many now, right? There's so many, maybe the book doesn't talk about these particular ones, but so many different disabilities that there is. But we keep repeating the mantra of the class. Everyone gets exceptional customer service, regardless of age, culture, disability, anything that we might see that's different from us. Remember that if a person is different to you, that means you are different to them too. So they're looking at you as a different person, you're looking at them as a different person, but remember, you are the customer service rep. So the customer service rep is the one that has to offer the exceptional customer service. So does anybody have any questions thus far? Regarding any of the assignments or anything of that sort? There's a few assignments on Canvas. All the assignments are up now on Canvas. Anybody have any questions about Canvas and what we're gonna be seeing this week? The lecture will be up on module 2. Remember that if you can't make it to class, you can go ahead and look at the lecture there. All your assignments are on Canvas already. We have chapter 2 and we have chapter 3, and they're all due by Sunday. So does anybody have any questions? Any questions about the book? Anything else? No? Well, thank you all for being here today. Thank you for coming. If you all have any questions about the assignments or having any issues, make sure to send me an email. I'm here before class also. If you want to speak in person, I'm here about an hour before class, so you'll find me here. You can come in. So I hope everybody has a great day. I'm glad the rain is over. And I will see you all on Thursday at 10:30. Thank you.